All seems quiet on the garden front. Hey guys, welcome to the homestead. So today we're looking for Japanese beetles. They're out there. It's every year it's a battle. And so this year, it's early yet. I'm not getting my hopes up, but so far, the battle has been light. The enemy has not been moving. I've said it before in previous videos that your garden is always a battlefield. In fact, just walking out here to do this video, I took a shot at a rabbit, and I only had my pistol with me, and so I did not get him. But the rabbit, let me go show you the damage he's been doing.
What's up, Doc?
I have a small carrot patch here, and you can see the tips have been eaten off on a number of these things right there. And so that is where the rabbit has been, and he has been coming into this little carrot patch, and these carrots are about almost ready to harvest. They're getting pretty good size. I've pulled a couple of them already. I'll be pulling them up before these weeds get too thick in between them. But you know, this rabbit has been coming out and chewing up the tops of my carrots, and I'll eventually get that rabbit, but not today probably. But one of the biggest enemies that I deal with in my garden every year is the Japanese beetle. The Japanese beetle comes in and has been totally decimating my peach tree. It chews the leaves of the peach. It loves the peach tree. It loves the blackberries. It loves the raspberries, and they just go nuts. They also attack things like the Egyptian spinach and some other things. So it's like a constant battle with these things. However, the last couple of years, what I have been doing is putting up Japanese beetle traps. Let me show you one of those. So this is the Japanese beetle trap that I hang up every year. Actually, the one I got last year I like better, probably a different brand, but it actually had a zip lock on the bottom, so you could basically empty your trap really easily. This one you have to probably take down and turn upside down and shake them all out. But last year I had to empty this trap about 3 times, I think, 3 times. And so I had 2 traps, one here and one on the other side of the garden. This one right by the blackberry patch, so it draws them away from the blackberry patch and into the trap. And what they do, there's a little scent pack or scent box right on top of there. It kind of smells like flowers or roses. And they're attracted also to the color, so you'll find these green colors on most of these traps. And so they're attracted by the scent and by the color, and they fly into this thing and they hit it, dunk, and they fall down. And so that's where they're trapped. They can't get out. And so I felt something climbing up my leg. I had to check what was climbing up my leg. Anyway, so that's how the trap works. They fly into it, dunk, and down they go. And then they can't get out. And so you have to, and they basically die from the sun from dehydration, because in the sunlight, this thing gets very hot and they just die. And so you kind of take them, and if you have chickens, great way to feed your chickens, go dump this upside down into your chickens, and then your chickens will enjoy some Japanese beetle food for the day. Let me show you the other trap. So here's my other trap that I have, and it's been hanging up, and like the other trap, this already has beetles in it. But I hang this on the other side, on the fence of the garden, and this draws in quite a few. At least it did last year and the year before that. So let me go ahead and show you down inside the trap. You can see some of the beetles that are trapped in there. So as I point my camera down into the trap, you can see a number of Japanese beetles that this has caught already. And so I think we're kind of early in the season. I don't think we have seen the majority of the Japanese beetles hatch from the ground yet. What they do is they start off as grubs. They're in the ground, and then they hatch, and then they come out of the ground and then attack your plants. So I don't think we've gotten to the season where the majority of them come out yet, but there's a few in there for sure. I'm hoping that my past efforts are going to really limit their numbers this year. So not only do I have the beetle traps out in my garden, I also have been, for the last couple of years, putting what's called Milky Sport in your garden. Now, Milky Sport, if you've never heard of this before, this is a completely organic and natural insecticide for Japanese beetles. It helps to control them. From what I've read, all the reviews online for people who have done this treatment properly has made a huge difference in their Japanese beetle populations for their garden. Now, supposedly, this stuff, when you put it in the ground, will last and work up to 10 years. And basically what it is a bacteria. It's actually a disease. So you put this disease, it's a bacteria, this Milky Sport, into your ground, you sprinkle it around, and then the water activates it when it rains, and then it seeps into the soil, and any grubs, Japanese beetle grubs, that come into contact with it, it gives them this disease, this bacteria, and it kills them. And then any other grubs that come into contact with that dead grub or infected ground, will also die, and it works again for up to 10 years, supposedly. Now, I've been doing this for the last 2 years. I've been applying the Milky Sport for the last 10 years on all around my garden to try to get the best benefit, because usually anytime when I was digging in the garden, I would find these grubs, these Japanese beetle grubs, in the soil. And so I know I had a lot of them. And I think the first couple of years when I had so many things growing in my garden, I wasn't doing anything. And the Japanese beetles every year was getting worse and worse. And I decided I had to do something. And so I found out about the Milky Sport. A lot of times, believe it or not, you can find it at Walmart. But a lot of natural and organic stores sell Milky Sport. It's becoming very popular because the reviews are so good online. So look into it, do your own research. But I have applied that. They say sometimes that you need to apply it for a couple years just to get, you know, a really good application. So you apply it in the spring and in the fall. In the last 2 years, I have done that in the spring and fall, and I'm hoping that's going to really cut down on the numbers, and it's going to work for a few years. And so I may wait a few years and see how it works, and see how it's going to work this year. But hopefully that will make a dent in the population. Now, there's something else you want to remember. Japanese beetles, every female can lay about 40 to 50 eggs. So just by putting up a trap and catching one beetle, one female beetle, you've now lowered that population potential by 40 or 50 future beetles. So it's good to put up traps. You know, put up 2 or 3 traps in your garden. Put them in different strategic locations. You can read the reviews. Maybe put it, away from the garden, a couple away from the garden, maybe one in the garden. But that will help catch. And you got to make sure you empty the traps, because your traps will become full if you have a real infestation. But by killing as many females and trapping as many females as possible, that way you're going to diminish future population potential down the road. So, you know, you may not notice a difference in the first year or the second year, but really by keeping these traps up consistently year after year, you should notice a difference. Now, this is my first year that I should really notice a difference, because I've been doing the Milky Sport. I've been doing the traps. So hopefully we're not going to see a big, infestation of Japanese beetles this year. And that means I get way more blackberries. I got a huge patch of blackberries. And so they really did a number on them last year and the year before, and we didn't really get any. But the year before that, those 2-3 years ago, we had that's before it got to be a real problem. We had so many blackberries that we canned them all, and we're still eating all of the jars of blackberry preserves that we have in the pantry. So hoping this year will be a good year, and I can invite friends and family to come up. People who are local to the area to come up and pick blackberries, because I really do have enough right now that I don't need to pick and can any for a while. There are a couple of mating Japanese beetles right there. And so I will kill those as soon as I'm done with this video. In fact, they say that these snake shot rounds, it's pest control. There's a piece of debris inside of my slide release. You see that right there? Anyway, I have snake shot or pest. They call it pest shot, or what do they call that? Basically, it's a shotgun shell inside of a 9mm, my Glock here. And so, is YouTube going to get angry with me if I kill these Japanese beetles and not use some kind of pesticide? I mean, listen, would you rather your Japanese beetle die of poisoning, agony, suffering, or would you just want it to be over? Oh, it kind of hurt my raspberries there. Well, that's the end of those Japanese beetles at least. Well, you got to admit, if you had to pick a way to go. Anyway, I'm going to keep a lookout. Keeping a lookout for those Japanese beetles. I'll let you know how the battle's progressing as we go along through the summer. See you next time on the homestead. Hey there, thanks for watching our channel. If you're looking for great off-grid homesteading videos, this is the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to like the video you just watched. You can also feel free to send us your questions by going to anamericanhomestead.com on our contact page and send me your question. Your question might get made into a video. In the meantime, check out some of these other great videos. Oh wait, go ahead and click them. Go ahead.